Around 2200 BC, a big climate change happened. A long drought hit many regions. Rivers dried up, crops failed. The Akkadian Empire collapsed. Many people starved or moved away.
Around 1200 BC, a sudden climate change struck. Severe drought hit the eastern Mediterranean. It triggered the collapse of the Mycenaeans fell. Great empires like the migrations and famine changed the men.
The Pyramid of Cheops is the largest pyramid in Egypt. It was built for Pharaoh Khufu around 2580 BC. It contains over 2 million stone blocks. It stood as the tallest building in the world for 3,800 years.
Ramses IV was pharaoh of the 20th dynasty. He was the son of Ramses III. He launched huge building projects across Egypt towards increasing Wadi Ham, and Hausen's Wayne continued the glory of.
The Rosetta Stone was discovered in 1799. Contains the same text in 3 scripts: hieroglyphs, Demotic, and Ancient Greek. It allowed scholars to decipher Egyptian hieroglyphs.
This unlocked this secret.
Hinduism is one of the oldest religions in the world. It began around 1500 BC. It has no single founder. Hindus worship many gods like Vishnu and Brahma. It is still practiced by over 1 billion people today.
The Bible is the most influential book ever. It was written over 1,500 years. It tells the story of God and humanity. It shaped Western civilization.
Judaism is one of the oldest monotheistic religions. It's a spiritual center. It was built by King Solomon and later rebuilt. For centuries, Jews worshipped God here. Its destruction in 70 AD changed here forever. The Trojan horse was the Greeks' most famous trick. After 10 years of war, they pretended to leave. They left a giant wooden horse as a gift. Trojans pulled it inside their city. At night, Greek soldiers came out and destroyed Troy.
Odysseus was the clever king of Ithaca. He fought in the Trojan War for 10 years. His journey home took another 10 years. He faced monsters, gods, and deadly storms. Mosredeos and Persephone.
The major Greek gods lived on Mount Olympus. Zeus was the king of the gods and god of thunder. Poseidon ruled the seas. Athena was the goddess of wisdom and war, were also greatly worshipped.
The Acropolis was the sacred heart of ancient Athens. It was dedicated to the Greek gods. Athena, goddess of the Zoroastrians. The temples were built as homes.
Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle were the greatest Greek philosophers. Socrates asked 1 questions. Plato founded the Academy. Aristotle tutored Alexander the Great. Their ideas shaped Western thought.
Socrates was sentenced to death in 390. He was forced to drink poison hemlock. His student Plato witnessed it. Aristotle later became Plato's most famous student.
Their ideas survived and shaped.
Confucius was a great Chinese philosopher. He lived around 500 BC. He taught respect, education, and moral values. His ideas shaped Chinese culture for 1,000 years. Confucianism remains influential today.
Around 500 BC, Siddhartha Gautama became the Buddha. He reached enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. He taught the 4 noble truths. His teachings created Buddhism.
Shinto is the ancient religion of Japan. It began around 600 AD. Shinto means the way of the gods. It worships spirits called kami in nature. It remains an important part of Japan.
Petra is the ancient capital of the Nabatean kingdom. It was carved directly into rose-red cliffs. The city was a rich trading center on the Silk Road. The famous treasury was built over 2,000 years ago.
The Silk Road was an ancient trade route. It connected China with Europe. Merchants carried silk and spices. Ideas and religions also traveled. It made the world more connected. Cleopatra VII was the last pharaoh of many-language Egypt. She was highly intelligent. She formed powerful alliances with Mark Antony. She fought to keep Egypt independent. Her death marked the end.
Cleopatra met Julius Caesar in Alexandria. She formed a powerful alliance with him. Caesar helped her secure the Egyptian throne. They had a son named Caesarion. Their union changed the ancient world.
On the Ides of March, Julius Caesar was assassinated. The senators stabbed him 23 times. Brutus, his trusted friend, a conspiracy. Caesar saw him and said, "You wrote to his death ended the Roman Republic." The Pax Augusta was a long period of peace. It began under Emperor Augustus. The Roman Empire prospered for over 100 years. Warfare decreased and trade flourished.
From 250 BC to 400 AD, it brought warm, stable, and wet weather. North Africa became the breadbasket of the empire. Huge food supplies supported Rome's growth. This golden climate.
The Colosseum is the greatest amphitheater of ancient Rome. It was built by Emperors Vespasian and Titus. It could hold up to 8. Gladiators fought and wild beasts were hunted here. It remains the symbol of Romans. Gladiators were trained warriors who fought in the arena. They were usually slaves, prisoners, or volunteers. Fights in the Colosseum were extremely popular. Some became famous and earned their freedom.
Jesus of Nazareth lived in the 1st century. His teachings of love and forgiveness spread rapidly. After his crucifixion and resurrection, Christianity was born. Within centuries, it became a world religion.
In 536 AD, a volcanic winter began. Massive eruptions caused years of darkness. Crops failed across Europe and the Mediterranean. Famine weakened the population. This paved the way for the deadly Justinian plague. King Arthur is the legendary king of Britain. He pulled the sword Excalibur from the stone. It was given to him by the Lady of the Lake. Excalibur gave great power, and his story became one of the greatest legends of all time. Camelot was the legendary castle of King Arthur. The Knights of the Round Table gathered there. They swore to uphold justice and chivalry. Famous knights like Lancelot and Galahad sat at the table. Muhammad lived in Mecca. He received messages from God. These messages became the Quran. He founded the religion of Islam. Islam spread across the world.
The Islamic Golden Age lasted from 800 to 1250. It began in Baghdad under this Mubazam Kallers, from Skans science, medicine and philosophy.
Between 950 and 1250 AD, the meat of warm and stable weather. Vikings colonized Greenland and reached North America. Population grew rapidly across Europe. Wine was even produced in northern England.
The samurai were Japan's elite warriors. They lived by the code of Bushido. Loyalty, honor, and courage defined them. They served their lords for centuries.
The Crusades were holy wars between Christians and Muslims. The Knights Templar were elite warrior monks. They protected pilgrims and fought in the Holy Land. They became rich and powerful. Richard the Lionheart was King of England. He led the Third Crusade against Saladin. He was famous for his courage and military skill. He became a legend in both Europe and the Middle East. His name symbolizes bravery and chivalry.
Temujin became Genghis Khan. He united the Mongol tribes. He created the largest empire ever. His army conquered many lands. He changed the history of the world.
Kublai Khan was a powerful emperor. He ruled the Mongol Empire. He made Beijing his capital. He invited people from many countries, his largest in the world.
Marco Polo was an Italian explorer. He traveled to China in 1271. He stayed 17 years at the court of Kublai Khan. He saw many wonders of Asia. His book inspired many explorers.
The Forbidden City is the largest ancient palace in the world. It was built between 1406 and 1420 by the Ming Dynasty. For nearly 500 years, it was home to 24 Chinese emperors.
Dante Alighieri was a great Italian poet. He lived in Florence around 1300. He wrote the Divine Comedy. It describes hell, purgatory, and heaven.
The 100 Years' War lasted from 1307, which was a long conflict. English longbowmen defeated larger French armies. Joan of Arc later in both nation to victory.
The Black Death struck Europe in 1347. It killed between 30 and 6% of the population. Tens of millions died of pauperous Eurasian history. Entire villages disappeared and society was transformed. The Little Ice Age lasted from about 1348 to very cold winters and cool summers. The Great Famine of 1350 from the beginning. Rivers and canals froze regularly. In easily stopped steam without a...
Gunpowder was invented in China around 850 AD. Taoist alchemists were shown on an elixir mortal. They accidentally created the first explosive mixture. It was first used for fireworks, later for its invention changed war for forever.
Johannes Gutenberg invented the printing press around 1440. He introduced movable metal type in Europe. This revolutionized the spread of knowledge. The first major book, the Bible.
Leonardo da Vinci lived from 1450, genius, artist and inventor. In 1503, he painted the Mona Lisa. He designed machines and studied anatomy.
The Mona Lisa is the most famous painting in the world. Leonardo da Vinci painted it for her mysterious smile and sfumato technique. The painting has been stolen icon of art and human genius.
Michelangelo was a Renaissance genius. He painted the Sistine Chapel ceiling. It took him 4 years. The creation of Adam is world famous.
Michelangelo was a genius of the Renaissance. He painted the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. It took him 4 years of hard work. The creation of Adam is one of the most greatest masterpieces in history. His work.
The Vatican is the center of the Catholic Church. It is the home of the Pope. St. Peter's Basilica is the largest church in the world. Catholicism was founded.
Christopher Columbus was an Italian explorer. In 1492, he sailed west with 3 ships. He was searching for a new route to Asia. Instead, he discovered the Americas. His voyage changed the world forever.
In the 15th and 16th centuries, re-explorer in 1492, Vasco da Gama sailed to India, first voyager Medulled. Their discoveries connected continents and began globalization.
The Amazon rainforest is the largest in the world. It is known as the lungs of the earth. It produces 20% of the world's oxygen. It is home to millions of species of animals. Protecting the Amazon is vital for our planet's future.
The Spanish Inquisition began in 1478. It was established by King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella. It targeted Jews, Muslims, and heretics. Torture and public executions were common. It became a symbol of religious terror and power.
Protestantism began with Martin Luther in 1517. He protested against the Catholic Church. He nailed his 95 Theses to a church door. This started the Reformation. It created a new branch of Christianity.
The 80 Years' War lasted from 1568. The Dutch rebelled against Spanish rule. They fought for freedom and independence. William of Orange led the rebellion. The Netherlands became an independent republic.
Nicolaus Copernicus was a Polish astronomer. In Finfort's revolutionary theory, he proved the Earth revolves around the sun. This changed our view of the universe forever.
William Shakespeare was the greatest playwright of all time. He wrote 37 plays and over 150 sonnets. His works include Romeo and Juliet, and Macbeth. He shaped the English language for a story to still gone worldwide 100 years later.
Millions of settlers moved west across America. They traveled in covered wagons on trails like the Oregon Trail.
They built farms, towns, and cities. It was a time of hope, hardship, and great courage.
Over 400 years, millions of Afro shipped them to the Americas. They endured brutal plantation conditions. It was one of history's darkest chapters. Its legacy still shapes our world.
The Taj Mahal is one of the most beautiful buildings in the world. It was built by Emperor Shah Jahan for his wife Mumtaz Mahal. Construction took over 20 years and 20,000 workers.
Isaac Newton was one of the greatest scientists ever. He discovered the law of gravity. He developed the 3 laws of motion. He invented calculus and revolutionized physics. His ideas shaped the modern world.
Johann Sebastian Bach was a German who works in the Baroque style. He was a master of organ, fugues, and counterpoint. His music was largely forgotten after death composers ever.
Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart was a child prodigy. He composed over 600 works in order. He mastered symphonies. His music is full of beauty. His music remains one of the greatest composers in history.
In 1776, the United States was born. Many founding fathers were Freemasons. They believed in liberty and equality. They used Masonic ideas. These ideas helped shape America.
In 1776, America wrote this. It is the Declaration. All men are equal. Everyone has rights. Rights to life and liberty.
Construction of the Capitol began in 1793. George Washington laid the cornerstone. It was designed as the home of the United States Congress, was rebuilt. Today it remains the symbol of American democracy.
In 1789, France made a new document. It is the Declaration of the Rights of Man. It says all people are born free, all people are born equal. Everyone has rights to liberty and justice.
In 1804, Napoleon became Emperor of France. He crowned himself in Notre Dame Cathedral. He took the crown from the Pope. He placed it on his own head. This moment showed his absolute power.
On June 18, 1815, the Battle of Waterloo took place. Napoleon fought against the British and Prussians. The battle was fierce and bloody. Napoleon lost the battle. This was the end of his empire.
The Imperial Guard made the final charge. They were Napoleon's best soldiers. They marched straight at the British lines. For a moment, it looked like they would win, but they were stopped.
Beethoven was a musical genius. He composed great symphonies and sonatas. He became deaf but kept creating. His music is powerful and emotional.
Victor Hugo was a great French writer. He lived from 1802 to 1885 in The Hunchback of Notre Dame. His stories fought for justice and humanity.
The Industrial Revolution began in Britain around 1760. Steam engines and machines changed everything. Factories replaced traditional workshops. Railways and cities grew at current speed. Karl Marx was a revolutionary thinker. He wrote the Communist Manifesto. He explained the struggle between classes. His ideas changed the modern world. He is the father of communism. Charles Darwin was a British scientist. He sailed on the Beagle. In 1859, he published his theory of evolution. It changed our understanding of life forever. In 1848, gold was discovered in California. Hundreds of thousands rushed west in search of fortune. They were called the 49ers. Boomtowns appeared overnight. The gold rush transformed the American West. Cowboys drove cattle across the Wild West. Native Americans fought for their land. It was an era of conflict and survival. Both became legends of the American frontier. The American Civil War lasted from 1866 to Confederate. The main cause was slavery and states' rights. Over 600,000 soldiers died in the conflict. The American Civil War split the United States. The North fought against the South. It was a war over slavery and union. Over 600,000 soldiers died. The North won and slavery ended.
Between 1880 and 1920, over 25 million people immigrated to the United States. They came from Europe seeking a better life. Many acts of migration became migration.
The Eiffel Tower was built in 1889 by Gustave Eiffel in Paris. It was 324 meters. It was the tallest building in the world. Many Parisians initially hated it and called it ugly. Henry Ford revolutionized the automobile industry. In 1908, he launched the Model 13. He introduced the moving assembly line and a main for ordinary people. The Ford changed the world and corrode. On June 28, 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand was assassinated in Sarajevo. This single event triggered the First World War. Within weeks, Europe was at war. Over 16 million people would die. The Russian Revolution changed the world. The Bolsheviks seized power in 1917. Lenin led the workers and soldiers. They ended the rule of the Tsar. A new Soviet state was born.
Red Square is the historic heart of Moscow. The Kremlin has been the seat of Russian power for centuries. St. Basva, the most famous buildings in the world. Here parades, revolutions, and coronations. Joseph Stalin was the leader of the Soviet Union. He ruled with absolute power. He industrialized the country rapidly. He led the Soviet Union to victory in World War II. His reign left a controversy. Albert Einstein was a genius physicist. In 1905, he developed the theory of relativity. He gave the world the equation E under space and time. He's one of the greatest scientists in history.
The Empire State Building was completed in over 40 years. It was built in just 410 days during the Great Depression. This Art Deco icon remains a symbol of New York City.
Mao Zedong led the Chinese Red Army. They undertook the Long March, over 9,000 kilometers through mountains and rivers. Only a small part survived the journey.
During World War II, the Nazis murdered 6 million Jews. They were sent to ghettos and death camps. This genocide is known as chapters in human history.
Auschwitz was the largest Nazi death camp. More than 1 million people were murdered here. Most victims were Jews. It became the main symbol of the Holocaust. On June 6, 1944, the Allies launched D-Day, the largest invasion in history. They stormed the beaches of Normandy. It was the beginning of the end for Nazi Germany.
In 1945, America dropped atomic bombs, first on Hiroshima, then on Nagasaki. Over 200,000 people died.
Alan Turing was a brilliant scientist. He helped break the German Enigma code. This shortened World War II. He is called the father of computer science. He created the idea of the modern computer.
The Chinese Revolution transformed China. Mao Zedong led the communist forces. They fought for many years. In 1949, the People's Republic was founded. A new era for China began.
Mount Everest is the highest point on Earth. It rises 840 meters above sea level. It is located in Himalayas on the Pannans. Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay first reached the summit.
The Mariana Trench is the deepest place on Earth. It reaches almost 11 kilometers below sea level. The bottom is called Challenger Deep. Only a few humans have ever been there. It is one of the most extreme, mysterious places on our planet.
The Beatles were the most influential band ever. They were called the Fab Four: John, Paul, George, and Ringo. They changed music and youth culture forever.
On July 20, 1969, humans landed on the moon. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin stepped onto the surface. Armstrong said, "One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." In 1420, the Ming Emperor built a big gate. It was called Tiananmen. It means Gate of Heavenly Peace. In front of this gate, a large square grew. Today, it is Tiananmen Square. Internet began in 1969 as art created for military and research use. In 1989, Tim Berners-Lee invented the World Wide Web. It changed how the world connects and shares information. In 1997, a computer defeated a world chess champion. IBM's Deep Blue beat Garry Kasparov. It was a historic moment. Machines had surpassed human intelligence in chess. AI development began in the 1950s. Computers learned to think. In 2022, AI became very powerful. It now changes the world. Since 1850, the climate has warmed, but since 2015, we are taking action. Renewable energy is growing fast. Together, we can limit warming and build a better future. AI is becoming smarter every year. We are healing the climate. Humans are going to Mars. Immortality may soon be possible. The future of Earth is in our hands. From ancient civilizations to modern times, from the first fire to artificial intelligence, this was the story of humanity, a journey of discovery, struggle, and wonder.